Hi crafters, thanks for joining me. Today I'll be making a fun spring themed card made with Lavinia Stamps. Hope you enjoy! So the first thing I did for this card is I stamped the Bumble Lodge with some VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And I put this on the left hand side so that the roof of the lodge is just off the top of the card or the paper. This is going to be the focal point. And I stamped this again on some masking sheets and cut it out. And then I removed the masking sheet. This is the one from Lavinia Stamps, so it comes with a bit of plastic behind it. And then I lined this up on top of the stamped image. That way we can decorate the background of the card without getting this lodge covered in ink. Next, I wanted to stamp the Sacred Bridge, which is quite large. So I sort of eyeballed where it would go using the plastic insert that comes with it and put a few markings in. And then I drew a line from the right-hand side of the left-hand side of the bridge, as you can see there, to the bottom of the card so that it gradually gets wider towards the bottom here. And then I'm using my Distress ink to fill in the water area. And then from where that water starts all the way across is going to be the sky. This is the tumbled glass ink, and I'm filling in that area, being careful over the mask so that I don't accidentally move it with the brush. And I thought these Distress Oxides worked really well for a springtime card. And I love these two blues together. They look really nice. Then I'm going to use the side of my brush to color in the riverbank here where the water meets the grass. And I'm using some old paper distress ink. And then around the cottage as well. And then I'll fill in that grass area with some mowed lawn Distress Oxide. And I'm just using one of the hillside masks to mask the top part of my grass so that I get a nice clean division between the sky and the ground. And then I'm just going to add a bit more of that old paper Distress Oxide just to lighten up the ground underneath the cottage there. And then when you remove that mask, you can see that nice clean division between the sky and the ground. Now to stamp the Sacred Bridge, this is the larger Sacred Bridge, I'm going to use some acorn ink. Because this is in the background, I don't want the ink to be as dark as that Bumble Lodge, which is in the foreground. And I just love how this is going off of the page. It gives it a really mystic, magical feel. I'm just going to use a little scrap of paper along the shoreline here. And there's a tiny little stamp that comes in the floral wreath set. This little flower here. And I'm going to use that to stamp along the riverbank. And I'm using a few different colors of VersaFine Clair to do this. And I'm also stamping either side of the horizon line there and a little bit on the edge of the cottage as well. And by using these different colors, it really helps to bring this image to life. And you can always customize these colors with the theme that you're going for. But I use nice springtime colors with this lovely glamorous and that beautiful monarch ink. And I love how versatile some of these tiny Lavinia stamps are, that you can use it for different things. Now I've gone ahead and colored in the bridge and the cottage, and I just put the mask back on. And I'm going to use this Moonlight White ink to add in some clouds. You can always skip this step if you prefer, but I thought because I'll be adding the white swans to the water, it'd be nice to have a little bit of white on the left-hand side of the card as well, just to balance it out a little bit. And just by using my ink blending tool, I'm hoping that these clouds look more realistic and fluffier. And because it's a pigment ink, I want to dry the ink with my heat tool when I'm finished, just to make sure that I don't smudge it with my fingers, because it will take a long time to dry. Now that that's dry, I'm going to stamp my swans, and I put them into my stamp positioner so that I could stamp them more than once. I'm just going to put them on the water there, and then I will heat set them to make sure they're completely dry. They look gorgeous already. And then I can re-stamp them. And this way I'll have a nice dark impression of white ink for those swans, and they'll really stand out on my card. As you can see, they look great. I'm just going to heat set them again. And I can add in some more details on these swans once they're dry. So I used a black pen to draw in some eyes on the swan. Just a very detailed black pen. And I'm just going to remove that mask. And you can see the beautiful Bumble Lodge, which I've colored in with Copic markers. And I'm just going to use a white gel pen to add some water lines around the swans, just to help create the illusion that this is water on the right hand side. If you're not a big fan of white gel pen, you could always smudge this line a little bit so it's not quite as dark and it will be a bit fainter. Now I wasn't quite happy with the clouds yet, so I decided to use my sparkle pen to add some more details. So I just went over all the clouds with my glitter pen and then used a bit of kitchen roll or paper towel and dabbed it off. And that helped to lighten the ink a little bit and give it a really nice sparkle, which looks great, especially in real life. And then I heat set this. So to carry on with the sparkle theme, I'm going to use my Quickie glue pen, and I'm going to go around those lines on the Bumble Cottage and a little bit around the bridge area. Also the flowers, just to add some sparkle in there as well. And I have some of the old Lavinia Stamps glitter before they started moving into the biodegradable glitter. And I've got one that is brown, and it looks really nice with this brown theme that I have on the Bumble Cottage. So I'm going to put that over the Bumble Cottage area. And the rest of the glitter I'm going to use is the biodegradable one that's called Fairy Tales. And that's that purple glitter that you see here. But you could use any combination of glitter that you have just to add a bit of sparkle and shine to this majestic scene. So once all the glitter is dry, I'm going to put this onto a 5 by 7 inch card base using some double-sided tape. I'll line that up so that it's nice and even. And once that's adhered, I had a look through my craft stash and found I had an orange pen that would work well for those swans. This is a fluorescent orange Posca pen, and I'm just using that. I thought it might be too bright, but I really like how orange it turned out. Now you could leave your card like this, but I really like having sentiments on my cards. So I added one of the Lavinia Stamps sentiments. This one, I think it's called Every Dream. Every dream begins with a wish. And I stamped that on craft paper, or you could use brown ink for the background, just so that it would match that Bumble Lodge. And I made sure it was nice and even on the right hand side there, and then I just cut off the excess. And then for the inside of the card, to make this into a nice birthday card, I decided to stamp one of those swans again and my sentiment. So I stamped this swan in VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. And then because there's a bit of a blue theme going on, I stamped the sentiment Happy Birthday from the Heartfelt Verses set with some Paradise ink, the VersaFine Clair Paradise. And of course, you can always change this to suit your card. And I love how this card turned out. It reminds me so much of a Thomas Kinkade painting. I hope you love it too. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video inspiring. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you're notified whenever I post a new video. Have a crafty day!